G'day, welcome back to the channel, and had a busy weekend. This is just a little update video, let you know what's going on around here so you can know what to expect and what's going on behind the scenes. On the weekend, I went out, we had some jets, as you've probably seen a couple of jet videos up already, and I used my new camera. My new 4K video camera from Panasonic. It's the HC-X1500. I've got a Boya MM1 microphone on here because the built-in microphone is not very good. Really good camera in many respects. Built-in microphone, not very good. So I put another microphone on the top. It's got a dead cat on it. Starting to smell already. Because the internal microphone is really just ravaged by the wind. Any wind in it's terrible. So I put this on with the dead cat. Works really, really well. Anyway, I'm going to be doing a video on this camera. I've been threatening that for a long time. I'm going to do a video on this camera. So if you are perhaps looking for a new camera and you've been thinking, ooh, Canon EOS R5, R6, Sony A7S3, Lumix S5, or this. Yes, it is a contender. It's not a mirrorless camera. It's not a full frame camera. It's got a lot of weaknesses, but it's got some fantastic strengths, as you may have seen in the footage that I've put up recently. But anyway, that'll be a separate video, probably on RC Model Reviews, because I will sort of be reviewing the camera. Although I'm not really qualified to review cameras. I'm not a camera geek. I'm not a camera fanboy. I just point and pull the trigger and get video. So it'll be a review of this camera from the perspective of someone who uses them but doesn't know a hell of a lot about them, right? So always admit your weaknesses. That's coming up. Also on the weekend at the jet meeting, gave this a really good test, gave a bit of a thrash, and this is the ADSB Alarm, of course, and it worked really, really well. In fact, it worked too well. It did. It was picking up aircraft over 100 kilometers away, which is really not what it's designed to do. This is designed to pick up aircraft that are nearby and low, the ones that might pose a threat to your model flying operations or your drone flying operation. So the fact that it was picking up aircraft from so far away was a bit of an issue because it was just tracking so many aircraft. It was like ridiculous. Too much noise, not enough signal. So what I've done is turn down the gain on the software-defined radio, and I'm also not going to use this tuned aerial. I made this aerial. This was an old Wi-Fi aerial, and I pulled it apart, created a new active element, put that in, and it's really, really effective at picking up things a long way away. But as I say, we don't want to pick up things a long way away. So you'll be able to use just a regular 2.4 gig Wi-Fi antenna on this. This is the it's about a $15 US software-defined radio dongle USB thing, just plugs in the top. See, woohoo, really simple. This is a Raspberry Pi, which is a simple single board computer. This is the Raspberry Pi 4 2GB. I bought it for $62 New Zealand, which is about maybe $40 US. And it's using less than 200 megabytes of the memory, so you only need the 2GB one. This was the super cheap LCD screen, which cost me about $12 US, maybe $14 US. It's not very good. Another thing I discovered, it's not bright enough for use in the sun. I don't like color LCDs in the sun. They're just terrible. They're awful mural. So maybe an OLED display, maybe a monochrome LCD display, or maybe just put it in the shade. Because one thing I'm working on at the moment is a little PC board that will go on the back here that will have a little voltage converter, so you can plug in a 2, 3, 4 cell LiPo to power the thing. It will run from a power bank, but you've got to have a 2 amp power bank. Mine's only 1 amp, so it didn't work with my power bank. It's much easier if you just plug a LiPo in it. It's a model device. It's for model flights. So we've all got spare LiPo packs that we don't use for much with an XT60. You plug it in there, bing, away you go, instead of farting around with a power bank. Much better idea. That's what I'll be doing for that. Also, it has a very loud beeper on the back, so you can basically just stick this anywhere and you'll hear it. When it goes off, it's time to land because there's a plane or a helicopter coming. It's simple as that. So the LCD screen is really just for making sure it's still working and seeing what's around. But the alert itself will come from a very loud piercing, you know, like those battery alarms that you have on your models, the LiPo alarms. You can use one of those loud beepers on there, so it'll really scream. I did have thoughts of putting a voice text-to-speech translation, so it would just speak the aircraft and positions and things, but then you could have a speaker and an amplifier, and it's just too much hard work. Someone will do it. Someone will do it. It's really simple. Someone will do it. But in the meantime, you know, this is a little acrylic case. Cost me a few bucks, a couple of bucks. Nothing flash, but it does the job, and you can see inside. Makes you look really clever because you can see the wires. Anyway, so learned a lot on the weekend about that. So one thing someone suggested, really, really good idea. I forget who it was, but whoever it was, good idea. Is the screen, perhaps make it into a radar scope. So you get basically a circle and you're in the middle and you can see the planes, so you can tell which heading they're on and whether they're coming or going just by watching the little call signs tracking across the screen. Great idea. I'm not going to do it. But why am I not going to do it? Because I want to get this thing, I want to get the software image up on the net. I want to get the hardware specs up on the net. I want to do a video a DIY build-it-yourself video as soon as I can. And it's important. I've developed and been a part of many, many large projects in software and computer and lots of other areas as well, engineering. And one of the biggest problems you have when you're dealing with a project is a thing called creeping featuritis. And that's basically where you develop something and you produce something and it's really good and people go, wow, that's fantastic. And someone comes along and says, hey, this is really good, but if you just did this, it would be even better. And you go, oh, he's right. Yeah, we should just do that. And then you just decide to do that. And just when you get it finished, or just before you get it finished, someone else comes along and says, hey, but if you did that, it would be even better still. And people go, you're right, let's do that. And what happens is over time, before it gets finished, it keeps getting enhanced. So you never finish the damn thing because everyone's always got new ideas and better things. So you're constantly improving it and it'll be finished soon. We're just adding this extra bit of feature. You don't do that. You say, this is what we're delivering and all those are good ideas. We'll do it after. We'll do it after we've finished the product, not before we release it. And that's the way to make projects successful, is to get them out the door, get them up so people can start using them. And then you can just roll out the improvements later on, especially with something like this, where the improvements will all basically come on the little SD card. So I'm going to get this out in its current form with the gains turned down a little bit, perhaps a couple of changes, because I might make I might find a better LCD than this, and also with the board on the back. That'll go up on the net, everyone can do their own, and then I'm sure other people will run with it, and they'll want to add the radar scope, and they want to add all sorts of things, like coffee percolator and microwave oven, all the things you might want to do to make this even better. Well, go for it, but at least you've got something in the meantime you can build and use. Simple solutions to complex problems. That's my theory of life. So there we go. Now, on the weekend, I did get a lot of footage. Not a lot in terms of time, but a lot in terms of gigabytes, because that camera really does make large files. I've got over 300 gigabytes of footage on the edit computer here, which is really only about 90 minutes worth of video in 4K with 10-bit color. And so and I'm working through the workflows, changed my workflows somewhat, uploading shorter videos at the moment because they're easier and it gives me time to try different things. But I'll be uploading longer videos as time goes on. And so in the meantime, I thank you for watching, and there's a video coming up. You're a YouTube user, you're either a content creator or you're a viewer of YouTube. You're probably both, or you may be just a viewer, I don't know. But I've noticed some really worrying things happening with YouTube, and I'm going to do a couple of videos on that because I think it's really important. We all know some really, really bad stuff going on with Google and YouTube. And so, yeah, I'll just try and explain what it is and my ideas, perhaps how we can deal with that. But remember, you don't have to watch every video on the channel, do you? No, if you're not interested in my opinions on YouTube, then just don't watch those videos. Just watch the model flying videos, and vice versa. If you only want to watch the YouTube stuff and the rants, watch those and ignore the model flying. The wonderful thing is you get choice. Well, for the time being, you've still got choice. Who knows what Google will do next? But that's it. That's my little update for today. And now I'll get on. What's the time? It is 3:54, nearly 4 o'clock in the morning. I've been up for 2 hours already, and I've still got very little done. So I better get on with it. Thanks to my Patreon supporters. Really appreciate your support. Spot you later. Bye for now.